Hello, Vicky. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Very good. I called us the Young Living Sisters. We don't really know each other that well yet, but we'll get to know each other, correct?
We will indeed.
Tell me a little bit about yourself, Vicky. How long have you been with Young Living, and what else are you up to?
I've been with Young Living, I believe, about 6 months now. I've started the raindrop course, so I'd like to be. It's brilliant. I want to be certified next year. My son Leon, my eldest, he has 2 raindrops a week, and I get moaned at if I don't give them to him. But I also work at Dogtopia. I've been a dog groomer for 10 years, and I love Young Living because it's all natural products, and being able to use them within the dog industry is also an added bonus. So I thoroughly enjoy all aspects of Young Living, and you're getting me now involved in the cooking and drinking side of things, which I'm looking forward to learning more about.
Yeah, I've been into that a little bit lately, but so I've been with Young Living for a bit over a year, I guess. Soon coming on to a year and a half. Well, not quite yet, probably about 15, 16 months. But I really, really enjoy it. And it's interesting. I think we are in very similar businesses because I actually joined Young Living because not because I wanted to build a business from it, but because I wanted a chemical-free home for the doghouse guests that are in our home. So we're pet sitters. And I was really interested because of all the thieves cleaners, right?
Yeah.
And my very first customer actually came from one of my dog clients. She picked up her dog and she said, "Why does my dog always smell so good when he leaves your house?" I said, "I think it's because we're diffusing essential oils."
My
So then I really played around with it too and tried making essential oil mixes that are good for anxiety for dogs. And also I created a insect repellent. And I tried all kinds of natural insect repellents and nothing works on me. So I put that on the dogs for the whole summer, and all of a sudden by the end of the summer it hits me, maybe I should try that on myself. And it actually works. So anyways, today we'll have some fun and we'll make some drinks, and Vicky is gonna make chocolates. So I'm gonna start with my drink, maybe Vicky, and then while I'm shaking it and so forth, then you can talk a little bit about your. Well, we don't want to make the noise, but once I have my drink made, then maybe we do your chocolates. So what I've done already. So this is gonna make 2 peppermint martinis. So I got 6 ounces of vodka in here, strong drink. So I wouldn't recommend driving after that. It's a drink that I sip on all night. I like a drink ever so often, but when it's like that, that's a little bit too much for me. So then what I have learned from other Young Living representatives, instead of using simple syrup in recipes, I use maple syrup. It's all natural maple syrup. So it has an Aunt Jemima label, but we're just reusing the bottle. There's actually all natural maple syrup directly from the Mennonite farmers in there. So that was 6 ounces of vodka, then 4 ounces of simple syrup or maple syrup. You can also use other sweeteners, honey or whatever, but I just find I used to make simple syrups when a recipe calls for it, and then I didn't use it for anything else, and then it goes bad in the fridge, right? So I just do that. A simple syrup is easy to make. It's the same part of sugar to the same part of water, and then you just warm it up and dilute it, right? And until it becomes just a liquidy syrup. But yeah, I find this is, first of all, easier. I don't have to worry about it. And also, it's healthier than simple syrup. And then I just put a little splash of grenadine in here. as much red as you want to make it. Oh, also, of course, I prepared these glasses, and so I just put a little bit of, I crushed a little bit of candy canes, and I used some sugar and water on a plate and just swirled it in there and then dipped it in the crushed candy cane. So then we're going to put 1 drop, and only 1 drop. Vicki just talked about that before we came live. It's important on peppermint only to use what is recommended. Otherwise, it's not as tasty anymore. It becomes actually yucky. We don't want anything yucky. So what I'll do, that's actually something my husband recommended. After he spoons up enough for me, to use a spoon. And if there's more than 1 drop going on there, you can put it back in the bottle. So we just want to be careful. 1 drop, very good. I'm just going to put it in there and swirl it around a bit so we get everything off. And I'll put some ice in there in the meanwhile. Why don't you tell us how you easily make flavored chocolate?
Well, it's infused chocolate.
Ooh,
And I actually got told this by a friend in the UK who worked for a chocolate company over there, and this is what they've done. So I got adventurous and done a bar yesterday. I'd like to show it to you, but I ate it.
okay.
I apologize. It was taste testing. What can I say?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you have to taste this.
Of course, I've got to, test and try before I introduce it to anybody. But I did orange yesterday, and I done 5 drops of that. So today, as we're on the peppermint, I'm just going to do 2 drops and go from there. So what I have done is that I've got a container, and I'm going to place the bar of chocolate in, and then we take a nice simple bit of, you guys, what do you call it over here? Because we call it kitchen roll. Paper towel. It's called kitchen roll in the UK.
Kitchen roll, okay. I just learned something new. You know, when I first came to Canada, I went to the store and I, of course, learned British English, and I asked them to buy trousers.
Yes.
And they looked at me like, oh, you're in the wrong department. You want to go to underwear. I said, no, I don't want underwear. I want the things that you wear over top of your...
Yes, for pants and things like that.
Oh, we call that pants here.
Yes, pants here, trousers in the UK, and pants in the UK is your underwear here. Yeah, I've had a lot of education here too.
Yes.
Anyway, so on my kitchen or paper towel, I'm just going to place 2 drops because I like strong anyway. And I've done
if you're just infusing it that way, it probably wouldn't get too strong, right?
Exactly. So I've just got 2 drops on there. I'm going to place that in. I'm just going to place the lid on, and then I'm going to place that in the fridge. And this time tomorrow, I'm going to eat it.
Right, I'll be over at your house then, okay, Vicki?
Because you're supposed to leave it for 24 hours in the fridge for it to diffuse. So if you're going to do the margaritas, you've got to do this the day before to go with your margaritas. So yeah, excuse me why I just put this in the fridge.
All right, I'm going to do some shaking here in the meanwhile then. I put some ice in there, so.
One thing, do not let the tissue paper towel touch the chocolate, because then you end up with a fat bloom or something. It changes the color of it.
Oh, okay, all right.
So you crush and I'll fridge.
All right. So here we are making martinis and chocolate. So I'm just shaking my peppermint martini. And my peppermint martini has 6 ounces of vodka, 4 ounces of simple syrup, or 4 ounces of maple syrup, which I used much healthier, and I don't have to waste the extra simple syrup in my fridge. A little bit of grenadine, however much you want to make it red, and 1 drop of peppermint oil, and we're shaking it. Oh, and of course some ice. not really a martini shaker, as you can see, but it works.
And you're getting your workout as well, aren't you?
Exactly. So there we go. Cheers, Vicki.
Thank you.
Oh, that is delicious. And look at this pretty glass.
I love what you've done there, and especially as you've done it with the candy cane for festive seasonal.
That's right. It's a great cocktail for when you have people over for Christmas. And as I said, I mean, we don't drink that much alcohol, but I have a friend also in Young Living, and she puts actually drops of mostly citrus oils into her wine, into her beer. So I figured I'll try that. Next time I have a beer, I'll put a couple of drops of lemon in there.
Oh, do you know what? I'll let you know how I get on with that as well. Maybe we could do different flavored beers and different citruses, and then we can have taste testing going on the next one.
Sounds good. We'll have to do that again with something else, Vicki. That was fun.
Yes, definitely. I look forward to doing some more with you, and yeah, learning more about how to use the oils, because you know, in food and things like that, and like you know, just adding them, how much to use, and you know, having them accessible on your kitchen side, not having to worry about fresh herbs and things like that. It just makes things so much easier.
Yeah, I can actually send you this. I think Gary posted that on our 3+1 site as well. So it gives you a breakdown of all the essential, or actually, I think there's only 12 on there, and we have 16 oils now, but it gives you a breakdown of how much you would use in dried herbs and how much of essential oils you can use instead then. So I've been doing quite a few different recipes. I think my favorite sweet one is my chai spice cookies. You can really pump up the flavor there. And I've been using it in recipes for cooking. So I used to love baking and not cooking, and I've really been experiencing with cooking in the last few years too. And so I kind of like the idea. I find in baking, you have to be fairly exact with your recipes, right? What you use. But in cooking, I can be more creative. So I usually put different things in it, right? So now I find it quite interesting. So if I have a dish that I think where I can put more Italian flavors in it or whatever, I put some basil and oregano in it, right? And so I've been coming up with interesting creations, and I did quite a few recipes. So if you go back on my timeline on Facebook, you can probably find some of my videos when I use them for cooking and baking.
Well, I'll definitely look for those. I did mince the other day, and I do a spag bowl, and I usually use natural herbs like the oregano and basil like yourself, but I actually use the essential oils, and my children didn't even notice, which is the two critics I thought would moan about them going in. And they didn't moan. I made some orange pancakes. I'd used 5 drops. They said it was too strong, so for them next time I will probably use a little less. And I made some lovely orange and cranberry gluten-free, dairy-free cakes, and I was really surprised how well they raised and how tasty they were. So all in all, I think you get a really nice flavor out of the cooking, which is an added bonus to having them, as I say, easy accessible, and you know, not having all the ordeal with using fresh products.
Well, and I find, you know, so in the winter time, it is much more economical to use an essential oil rather than a herb, because if you want fresh herbs in from the store, they are very expensive, right? So, and putting a drop of basil in it is like you have fresh basil. It's not like you use dry basil, right? So what I sometimes do too, so when it calls for basil, fresh basil, just to give it that look that there's basil in there, I use dried basil and put a drop of basil into it, right? And it kind of just pops up the flavor. So yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, definitely. I look forward to some more tips from you.
Yeah, we have to do some pet stuff as well one